Right off the bat, I want to apologize for the sound of my past couple of recordings. The $200 microphone, the professional one that I use, gets a little finicky in times because I have to actually be a certain distance from it in order for it to pick up my voice effectively enough to be able to be heard. And over the past couple things, I don't think I was doing that good a job. So I switched back to, as you can see, my 1995 Radio Shack headphones and microphone, because that puts the microphone very close to what it is that my mouth wants to say. So you should all be able to hear it. And I'm going to just use this system from now on because it's a little bit more predictable. I don't have to, worry about, am I right on top of the microphone and can they hear my voice? Because I don't usually think about those kinds of things when I wander off into Astroland, the dance of the planetary beings. I'm going to start this gathering out a bit differently than I normally do, because I have a tendency to lean quite strongly into the shamanic techniques of being able to actually call in assistance from arenas that many don't even recognize as an existent experience. And so, sit back and relax. Allow the energy of life to wrap itself around you. I want you to just enjoy the experience for a couple of minutes. Listen to the sound. Virgo, the season we are in, has a particular cadence to it that calls you into a deep zone to reflect on what it is that you would like to organize your life to tune into. So close your eyes if you want. We're surrounding all of us and each of us right now with power, protection, and support. Just let go to the sound of this drum. Part of the experience of the shamanic dance is to create enough noise that the beings on the other side of the mirror might go, "Hey, what's that? We should pay attention to that. There's something going on down there that's calling to us. We should check it out." And because this is an astrological consideration predominantly, we're sending out a call right now, particularly to all the planetary beings, that what it is that needs to transpire this week, we might pay attention to, tune into, and allow that thoughtful place within us that Virgo resonates with to say, contemplate, contemplate. How is everything organized? Think on that. Just for a few minutes. Greetings, sun. Greetings, moon. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and on to our far out neighbors, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Welcome to this circle of consideration. We would allow your perspectives to be present as we contemplate what is it that is in store for us if we but tune into the energies of what this week might hold in store for us. If we should invite you to participate with us in this dance of life. Come on back. Relax. Allow your eyes to once again open. Allow the sound of this drum to be in touch with the energy of your heart's throb as it allows the circulation of the blood to reach out to all your extremities in that place where you are. Come into the now and know that you are whole. Thank you. When I was considering what was transpiring this week, I didn't see a lot of, overt planetary dance moves that might be worth delving too deeply into. Pardon me. As this is the week prior to the next Mercury retrograde, which is next week, by the way, and I was looking at, what exactly is what does Mercury have to say to us this week to pay attention to? As I was contemplating ways to spin that Virgoan dance today, I meant to hang on a second. The term contemplate, which is really a good Virgo term because part of the matrix of energy that comes into play whenever the Virgo template is on the table is contemplation. I said, I thought about this in my dreams that I had last night, and I woke up this morning going, contemplate, con with and template. And template to me seemed like there's a plan. That's what a template really is. I looked up the definition of template in my Webster's, and one of the things that, that was what I was seeing. It was like, there is a template. If you consider we spent the first couple minutes of today actually reaching out to tune into these planetary energies that are really attempting to form some sort of a message process for us to tune into. And as I did this, I went, I thought of, you know, ever since, you know, billions of years ago, the Big Bang, millions of years ago of the utilization of the molecules of the physical level of creation happening all at once and morphing, coming together in unique forms and formats to create aspects of what we here on Earth consider as the building blocks, the DNA of what it is that life here is about. And one of the interesting factors in that is that all these physical parts of everything are in everything. The tree has DNA, the grass has DNA, we have DNA, the animals all have DNA. This combination of physical energy substances in this DNA helix formation is always present, always has been present, and the shamanic side of this experience is tuning into the soul part of life that incarnates into physical forms to grow and develop in ways that really the physical manifestation experience has no comparison to anything else. But with a template, contemplate. The template reads: a gauge, pattern, or mold as a molecule, as of DNA, that serves as a pattern for the generation of another macromolecular, as in messenger, RNA, an overlay. So with that term contemplate near the surface as we gather here for this consideration, can you sense that there might be a plan afoot that we are with understanding, our Virgo side trying to organize everything as best it can as to, how to tune into that template of life that our soul has come to participate in this moment. I think in this moment is a key factor, because there really is no other moment. Oh, we have memories of things that have, long since passed or recently. We have wishes and hopes for that which will transpire if we but do appropriate things in where? This moment that can lead toward something. But is it predictable? I don't think so. I think the process of trying to come up with something so theoretically hard and fast, like predictions, And as astrologers, a lot of people have the image of us being able to do these predictions. And as an astrologer, we can see trends, but you have to really think of the excuse me, individuality of what each of us represents, and the particular machinations of the living experience that each of us has gone through to get to the present moment. And it has coordinated thought processes for us and living experiences that are related to those previous steps that we have taken that come to focus in this current moment. Mercury, how we think. First day of the week, let's take a look at the chart real quick. First day of the week, Monday next week. What do I notice right off the bat? I notice this Moon-Mercury conjunction going on. Well, the moon moves pretty fast. Mercury generally is the second fastest moving planet. However, because Mercury is going to be going retrograde next week, Mercury is slowing down. It's not racing to get somewhere that it isn't right now. It's giving us moments of contemplation. We're in Virgo time, so contemplation is on the table. What is the template that your Virgo part currently might be tuned into? Is it giving you any kind of inclination as to how best to utilize and organize your thoughts so that the current moment that you're living in will develop into something meaningful down along the way? I'm not inviting you necessarily to try and pre-fashion just what that might be, but the invitation is to find yourself. Who are you and where are you in this time frame that it, as an understanding, is going to be in a position that whatever comes along is going to be able to be embraced, challenged, grown from, expanded upon, encircled with that soul presence that says there's a reason why these things are taking place. How can I utilize them in the most organized fashion that I can to make this living experience and this soul growth that I signed up for actually go somewhere that is meaningful to all of soul experience? That's an essay question. There's not a simple yes, no, or particular answer to it that might be appropriate to all of us, because we're all on unique trajectories. But the moon, we just recently had a new moon in Virgo that spoke to the experience of, how in that early part of Virgo, how can I set an intention that is going to carry enough weight with it that I might be able to fill out that Sabian symbol that I read to you last week for the new moon. A man or a woman becoming aware of nature spirits and normally unseen spiritual agencies. The opening of new levels of consciousness. At the root of the Virgoan experience is that drive to formulate a meaningful context within which one might, I was going to say comfortably, but it may not necessarily be comfortable to attune oneself to the energies in any particular moment that presents itself for us. Yet from the Virgoan perspective, we're invited to, comfortable or not, grok what it is that is transpiring and try to find a place for it that fits into the context, the larger context of what it is that we as an individual see as valuable, something that we can build upon. This is essential Virgo at work, ruled by Mercury, which currently is in Libra, slowing down to go retrograde. So the invitation is there always, Who else might be of value in this interpretation process? Because it isn't just, a one person, a me, soul character that is being invited to contemplate what is that matrix form that is forming. What is it that the part that I have and the part that you have might come together to establish context that can grow? And so the moon dancing across Mercury today says, can you feel that presence, dynamic within yourself and others, seeking to awaken parts of you that have been in some fashion snoozing, sleeping life away, not really filling the experience that your soul came to process in ways that, can really be, the best word I can come up with is magical. And I'm not talking about the illusionists. I'm talking about the ability to actually create. That is what this Virgo essence is about. Creating a container within which things can happen. Experiences can transpire that have not transpired before. So Monday starts this week out. Have you set your intentions for this Virgo moon? That Sabian symbol that I just read? That's just sort of like, it can be used like an energetic marker or consideration as to how to play that Virgoan essence in a way that this next month ahead might grow something delightful, challenging perhaps, but always an expansion of potential that's just waiting for us to awaken to. Shifting months. We're going into September. And when I look at this chart, this is Monday. There's some aspects that are taking place. There always are. We're coming out of our square from the new moon, sun dance with the square to Mars, tickling our energy of curiosity with, you almost can feel like a flame being lit under our curiosity from Mars being there just saying, go for it, be curious, take a chance, be adventurous in your life experience. Anyway, the next thing that I see is basically when we get to the 1st, September 1st. What do we have going on? We've got, that Mars in Gemini is forming a sextile with Jupiter retrograde up here in Aries. Jupiter, I would say, is rarely of the inkling to try and shrink or restrict the process of what can happen. Don't think small. I think that's a good motto for Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius, and from the Sagittarius perspective, it is always about what else is there that awaits my exploration. How large, how big can I make it? How far can I go? That Jupiter Sagittarius is a quest process. And the quest is not to try and demean yourself with, past reflections and repetitions of things that you've already gone through. Oh no, Mercury, Sun, Jupiter, they're all saying, come on, Jupiter, let's go for it. Let's take that journey. Let's see what's going on in other ponds and pools and collectives of thought that might inspire us to be more than we think that we are currently. This is the adventure of life. Mars in Gemini with a curiosity right now is saying that sextile, these energies, fire and air, they're kind of like, you can almost feel the molecules of creative thought percolating together and, wanting to take chances. That Aryan impulse to be big with Jupiter. And Mars, the ruler of Aries, in Gemini saying, I got to take a chance. I got to see what that greener side, other side of the hill really has. Is it really greener? Is it better? It's worth checking out. Mercury's the land of short journeys. Gemini's the land of short journeys. But usually, what I've noticed, every long journey starts in that short journey mode. I should go check and see what Aunt Mabel in Connecticut is doing. And who knows? There may be avenues of consideration that Aunt Mabel or Margaret, I can't remember what name it is, but it's a personage, may stimulate in me the curiosity to, wander further afield than I had initially intended. Mercury's in Libra, ruler of that Gemini and Virgo, saying, what's going to transpire when I communicate effectively and with intention with others? What avenues of inspiration might awaken to investigate? There's our Virgo again. That investigative nature says, how do these parts fit together? And what and where do I need to look to find these connective tissues of life that are beckoning me to really pay attention and see, for my soul awareness, what is being stimulated? What part of me wants to expand into areas that I have yet to discover. On Tuesday, we've got lots of other energies at work here. Mercury and Jupiter forming an opposition. There's our Mercury, there's our Jupiter retrograde. There's a nice opposition line across this. Perspective. That's what oppositions bring. Here's our fire and air again. Fire, Aries, air, Libra. The perspective of self, Aries, Libra, the other, with any required adjustments to find that commonality in the middle, where the reason for being a self and the reason that others doing the same thing, being selves, might find some level of cohesiveness to the individuality perspectives that are not necessarily the same, because remember, we talked about those past experiences that have gotten us to this present moment. Everybody has those, and they're not the same, because we've chosen soul directives that are very particular to what it is that we need to pay attention to. And when honesty puts it in appearance, and we can compare those notes of our different storylines, looking for that range of common energy that is in play, that has brought us together in this moment to do just that. We're both going to grow from this. One person may say, I haven't got nothing to do with what it is that you're trying to tell me is life. And yet, give it some time. If you don't just automatically jettison that stuff from your thoughts, it's going to work there. It's going to sit there. How close is that friend? Why would they say those things to me? What kind of energy might open up if I were to, just give them a slightly wider berth, a slight bit more contemplation? Can I play my Virgo in the part here? Can I fit that puzzle piece into my perspective of the puzzle of life? Try it sometime. I think you might be surprised. So self and other. The experience of, the communication thing. The thoughts. The energy of how do I make this work? Is my curiosity vibrant and alive enough to take a chance? That's Friday. Saturday comes in. We have the waxing quarter moon that happens between Virgo and Sagittarius. These are two mutable signs. And if we were to contemplate just these first three mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius, Gemini's level of curiosity, spurred on by that mercurial inquisitiveness to learn, to consider different forms of educational processes. When it comes to, that opens up channels and opportunities that don't necessarily uh, go about the experience of, settling. I don't think Gemini is really a settling kind of energy. There's that percolating curiosity that, it keeps us, less tethered to any particular kind of thought experience. When we get to Virgo, though, Virgo's use of that same planet Mercury, our mental capacities, which is where we're at right now, there's an attempt to facilitate methodology into connecting possibly seemingly disparate perspectives into some level of form and structure. Earth sign, after all, is what Virgo is. And the reason for this is to discover possibly a level of comfort, or at least understanding of what makes this tick, and how does this tick affect that tack or talk over here. And so we have this tick and talk, tick and talk. There's this communication going on between these seemingly disparate parts, looking for some level of cohesion to bring them together. This is Virgo's process. This is Virgo's idea. How can these experiences, go somewhere? Sagittarius, that next mutable sign, says, opposing Gemini, says, "Thank you, Gemini curiosity, for bringing me some things to consider." And Virgo says, I've put these parts together as best I can. Sagittarius comes along and says, let's spin it. Let's see if what it is that has been brought together has enough fuel to be able to get the rockets of what it is that we want to go and explore off the ground. Is there enough, energy in this experience that's going on right now to allow me to explore further? This is the experience. And this first quarter moon that's happening up here in Sagittarius says to us, our waxing quarter moon says, this is a crisis in action, And it's a fire sign. Fire signs are all about action. And so where might this action be aiming for? Well, it's aiming for what was the intention that we set into motion at the previous new moon? Is there an awareness of the larger context within which we as humanity fits? Do we recognize the energy pattern and flow of all of life? Things that we don't necessarily go out of our way to contemplate, that may be in play more so than we had previously thought. Another essay question. This is something that I can't give you. You almost have to find it on your own. But remember that opposition, Mercury to Jupiter. You really aren't necessarily on your own, but are you willing to open up and share with others that in areas that might not be the most comfortable? Because believe me, it's going to alter your perspective. Something big. Anyway, those are the energy patterns that I perceive going into this week. There's 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 movement afoot to be a lot larger than what we might previously have thought possible. Virgo the Mentor. You might be surprised, if your willingness allows it, to perceive others seeking you out, to find out, how is it that the thoughts that you have put together intrigue me in such a way that I want to know more. The call to the mentor. What is it that you know that I sense I should know, or at least have a perspective on this particular life journey process that my soul is investigating? So get your drums out, set an intention, and know that you're never doing this alone. This is a photo of a drum circle group with Hank Wesselman that I did, I don't even know how many years ago. Judging by the number of drums, I'd say maybe 8 or 9 years ago. It's an adventure, folks. Astrology is an adventure. Life is an adventure. Are you paying attention? Are you being called, beckoned to participate in more of an adventurous flow going forward from this current moment? Right here where you are. Do you sense that presence that your soul says, hey, you want to go for a ride? Climb aboard my rocket. We're going to go see things that you haven't even thought of yet. So, have a good week. We'll see you next time.